The rise of the Nazi Party in Germany during the 1930s is one of the most infamous and tragic events in modern history. Led by Adolf Hitler, the party quickly gained support and control through propaganda, fear, and manipulation. But how did they manage to seize unlimited power and ultimately bring destruction and devastation to the world? In this video, we will delve into the tactics and strategies used by the Nazi Party to gain complete control over Germany and understand the impact it had on the world. This is the story of how the Nazi Party seized unlimited power. The Reichstag Fire. On February 27, 1933, just as the Nazi election campaign was reaching its zenith, the Reichstag, Germany's parliament building, was engulfed in flames. This event created an immediate atmosphere of chaos and fear throughout the nation. In the midst of this turmoil, Marinus van der Lubbe, a young Dutch communist, was swiftly apprehended and charged with the arson. The Nazi leadership, quick to capitalize on the situation, painted the fire as evidence of a broader communist plot aimed at destabilizing the German government. Hermann Göring, a prominent Nazi figure, wasted no time in asserting that the fire was the precursor to a widespread communist revolt intended to overthrow the Weimar Republic. This narrative served to fan the flames of anti-communist sentiment among the German populace. In the immediate aftermath, the Nazis launched a crackdown on the Communist Party, resulting in the arrest of around 4,000 individuals, effectively silencing one of their main political adversaries. The Reichstag fire played directly into the hands of the Nazi Party, enabling them to consolidate power by stoking fear and exploiting the event to justify the suppression of political opposition. This pivotal moment marked a significant step towards the Nazi Party's quest for absolute control, setting the stage for the sweeping changes that would soon transform Germany. Emergency power. Following the Reichstag fire, the atmosphere of crisis provided the perfect pretext for the Nazi Party to enact draconian measures. On February 28, 1933, a day after the fire, President Paul von Hindenburg, under the advisement of Adolf Hitler and other Nazi officials, issued the Reichstag Fire Decree. Officially titled the Decree for the Protection of People and State, this emergency declaration effectively dismantled the fundamental civil liberties enshrined in the Weimar Constitution. Citing the supposed imminent threat of communist insurrection, the decree suspended the rights to freedom of expression, assembly, privacy, and the press. Additionally, it allowed for the detention of individuals without specific charges and the interception of communications, all in the name of national security. This sweeping suspension of rights granted the Nazi government legal authority to target and eliminate political opposition, marking a critical juncture in their ascent to total power. The decree's broad application led to the arrest of thousands of communists, socialists, and other regime critics, including members of parliament, which further weakened the ability of the Reichstag to oppose Nazi initiatives. This manipulation of emergency powers under the guise of protecting the state was a cunning move by the Nazis, setting a legal precedent for the authoritarian measures that would follow. Elections 1933. In the shadow of the Reichstag fire, the March 1933 elections unfolded under an atmosphere rife with intimidation and coercion. The Nazi Party, leveraging the state of emergency, deployed the SA Sturmabteilung to engage in a ruthless campaign against their political rivals. Acts of violence and intimidation perpetrated by the SA created a climate of fear, dissuading many from opposing the Nazi agenda and compelling others to support them as a means of self-preservation. The elections were marred by these manipulations, stripping them of any semblance of fairness or freedom. Despite the oppressive environment, voter turnout soared to 89% on March 5, 1933. The Nazi Party's efforts yielded significant gains, securing 43.9% of the vote, a marked increase from their previous electoral performance. However, even with this increase, they fell short of achieving an outright majority in the Reichstag. This result underscored the complexities of the political landscape in Germany at the time and the lengths to which the Nazi Party was willing to consolidate its power. The Enabling Law. On March 23, 1933, Adolf Hitler presented the enabling law to the Reichstag, a critical move in the Nazi Party's bid for totalitarian control. This law sought to transfer legislative power directly to Hitler, allowing him to enact laws, including those altering the constitution, without the Reichstag's approval and bypassing the need for President Hindenburg's consent. The pretext of national emergency, established in the wake of the Reichstag Fire and further intensified by the orchestrated fear of communist insurrection, created a climate where such drastic legislative change seemed warranted to many. The enabling law's passage required a two-thirds majority, a threshold made attainable through the strategic suppression and intimidation of opposition parties. With the Communists barred and the Social Democrats targeted by SA and SS violence, the political field was heavily skewed in Hitler's favour. The nationalist DNVP aligned with the Nazis, while the Centre Party capitulated following Hitler's assurances regarding the rights of the Catholic Church. The vote, held amidst an atmosphere of palpable intimidation with SA and SS members lining the chamber, resulted in a landslide approval of 444 votes to 94 against. This marked a decisive moment in the Nazis' consolidation of power, effectively rendering the Reichstag obsolete for legislative purposes and setting Hitler on the path to dictatorial rule. The Night of the Long Knives. The Night of the Long Knives was a pivotal moment in Nazi Germany, characterized by the brutal purging of the SA leadership and other political dissidents. Between June 30th and July 2nd, 1934, the SS and the Gestapo executed over 150 individuals and arrested hundreds under the guise of preventing a supposed coup. Ernst Röhm, the SA's chief, along with his lieutenants, were the primary targets, viewed by Hitler as threats to his supremacy. This action was not only about eliminating a potential rival in Röhm, but also about placating the conservative military elite and the broader establishment who were apprehensive about the SA's radical ambitions and its challenge to the existing order. The SA's desire to perpetuate the Nazi revolution and usurp the traditional conservative power structures clashed with Hitler's strategy of consolidation and moderation, necessitating a dramatic and decisive move to assert control. The orchestration of the purge, followed by Goebbels' manipulation of the media to frame it as a necessary action against rebellion, showcased the regime's ability to employ violence and propaganda to solidify its grip on power. The aftermath of the purge saw the SA's influence significantly diminished and the military's allegiance firmly shifted to Hitler, making a crucial step in the Nazi consolidation of power and the establishment of Hitler's dictatorship. Gleichschaltung. Gleichschaltung, a term that encapsulates the Nazi regime's comprehensive approach to control, was a systematic effort initiated in early 1933 to align all sectors of German society with Nazi ideology. This process involved the reorganization of professional bodies, cultural institutions, and the civil service to ensure absolute adherence to the party's goals. The law for the restoration of professional civil service, enacted on April 7, 1933, was a critical step in this direction, enabling the exclusion of Jews, political dissidents, and others deemed undesirable from government employment. The judiciary underwent a significant transformation, with judges and judicial officials who resisted Nazi directives being removed or coerced into retirement. The establishment of the People's Court further exemplified this shift, as it bypassed traditional legal procedures to prosecute enemies of the state under judges loyal to Nazi principles. In the realm of culture, Joseph Goebbels' appointment as Minister for Public Engagement and Propaganda marked the beginning of an aggressive campaign to dominate the cultural landscape. Through Goebbels' oversight, media, literature, art, and entertainment were curated to propagate Nazi ideology, aiming to reshape German identity according to the party's vision. Although local governance presented challenges to the Nazification process, with a significant proportion of mayors resisting party membership, the overall strategy of Gleichschaltung effectively extended Nazi influence across the political, social, and cultural spheres of Germany. This orchestrated alignment fortified the regime's control and facilitated the implementation of its broader objectives. The death of President Hindenburg. On August 2, 1934, the death of President Paul von Hindenburg at the age of 87 removed the last significant check on Adolf Hitler's rise to absolute power. Swiftly capitalizing on this opportunity, Hitler announced the merger of the chancellorship and presidency into a singular position, declaring himself the Führer and Chancellor of Germany. This dramatic move effectively eliminated the office of the president, concentrating the powers of the state in Hitler's hands. In a referendum held on August 19, 1934, to legitimize this consolidation of power, a staggering 89.93% of voters expressed their approval. The overwhelming endorsement by the German populace signified a pivotal shift in the political landscape, cementing Hitler's position as the unchallenged dictator of Germany. Hindenburg's passing marked the definitive end of the Weimar Republic's democratic experiment and heralded the beginning of a totalitarian regime under Nazi control. Themes of Nazi consolidation. The consolidation of Nazi power in Germany can be effectively summarized through three overarching themes: pseudo-legality, terror and intimidation, and pseudo-moderation. Each of these strategies played a pivotal role in enabling the Nazi Party to cement its grip on the nation with a veneer of legitimacy and public support. By employing pseudo-legal tactics, the Nazis skillfully manipulated the legal framework and constitutional provisions to outlaw opposition, enabling them to dismantle the democratic fabric of the Weimar Republic under the guise of restoring order and combating perceived threats. Terror and intimidation were systematically used to suppress dissent and eliminate political rivals, with the SA, SS, and the establishment of concentration camps serving as tools of state-sponsored coercion. Pseudo-moderation was a cunning strategy that involved portraying radical actions, such as the Night of the Long Knives, as necessary steps to maintain stability, thereby masking the ruthless consolidation of power behind a facade of public interest and order. Together, these themes underscore the calculated and multifaceted approach the Nazi Party employed to achieve and maintain totalitarian control over Germany, effectively silencing opposition and reshaping the nation's political landscape. Understanding the mechanisms behind the Nazi Party's rise to unlimited power is essential to safeguarding democracy. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you found this video informative, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. See you in the next video. Stay curious.